You know, I've done a lot of challenge runs this year centered around beating racing games with vehicles or characters that some people would never even dream of taking seriously. So I thought I was way past due for a break and wanted to try something different. Somewhat recently, the game Top Gear Overdrive for the Nintendo 64 captured my attention through a recommendation, because you can play as a literal taco on tomato wheels. That sounded hilarious and was just the change I was looking for. I loaded up the game, entered a code that unlocked every car, and shifted through them all until I saw that sweet high-octane Mexican treat. But while looking through all the vehicles, another car caught my eye. Something just as silly and perfect challenge run material. Here we have the Wienermobile, or hot dog car as I'll refer to it for reasons, which almost has the same stats as the taco car. But if you take a closer look at the stats, they're all really high, which should mean that this meat behemoth is more than capable of crushing the competition. Well, kinda sorta. The catch is that the stats are so good, they actually make the car a near uncontrollable mess. So between the two, you might be wondering why I turned my back on the originally planned taco car run, and it's really the best reason in the world. 2 years ago, I got what I remembered was a targeted ad for a Bluetooth wireless Nintendo Switch controller by Hyperkin that was officially branded by Oscar Mayer. I thought it was hilarious and knew I had to buy it. So that's why I came to this conclusion. The hot dog car and controller combo was just too good to pass up. So let's see if you can beat Top Gear Overdrive only using the hot dog car. For this challenge, I'm going to try and complete every season in the championship mode. I'll also only be going for first place finishes in every race. That sounds fairly standard, but it's a little tricky. In the championship mode, you race through 6 seasons. As you progress, each season offers more tracks and the terrain will change, which can affect your performance. If you complete a race in any position, that track is done and you have to move on to the next one. But you can reset the race before that happens if you're gunning for a better spot. For the races, you begin at the starting line, but other cars start ahead of you. There's also a rival car in every race, and they'll typically be ahead of you by a third of the track. To combat the CPU favoritism, you start with 3 nitrous boosts, and can pass through these green-lit nitrous signs to gain more. There's also signs that give you money, and you receive some after finishing a race. Money is used to soup up your car after each race, but that won't be necessary for me because the economy is currently in shambles and my car is perfect the way it is. Before I begin, I want to say that I opted to play in first-person mode for this challenge. First person makes this game perform far better than in third person, which is good, but kinda sucks because I really wanted to have this succulent hot dog in full view. So if you're prone to motion sickness, this may not be the video for you. The first season starts in Frigid Peaks, a mountain track with some icy segments. The race can also end in seconds because the hot dog is so quick that if it runs into any car or a wall too quickly, it'll just explode. Explosions don't take you out of the race, but they'll set you back a couple of seconds. And I can't have anything slowing me down while trying to catch up to this cheater. First place is so fast, and with such a big head start, catching up doesn't seem too likely. Who is this speedy daredevil? Well, I found out earlier while trying to get an idea for how this challenge run should go, and the answer might shock you. Oh, we are! We're racing against the hot dog! We have a hot dog mirror match. Yes, you saw that correctly. The rival car is none other than my own twin, and he is one fast sausage link. Thankfully, we're just as fast and have the ability to utilize shortcuts. There's one here that skips a good chunk of the track right before crossing into the next lap. If you handle this meat with care and not blow up more than once at any point during this race while hitting the shortcut, then you'll be the first dog fresh off the grill every time. Fertile Canyon. Yup, I know. It's farmlands nearby the side of a canyon. There's a few more shortcuts in this track, but the hot hog's fast moves keep me from getting through them properly. So I'm just gonna have to rely on raw skill to win here. Holy crap, that was awesome! While it was cool to occasionally jump over cars, the small bumps and hills on this track made it really easy to fly out of bounds. Oh dear me. Oh god. The quest for first was long and juicy, with many ups and downs had, but winning didn't seem too far off, even with a few hiccups. I was improving over time, though I still struggled to catch up to first. Daddy's coming home, and he's bringing hot dogs. Okay, we've lost this completely, never mind. What I needed was an edge, some type of external motivation to keep me going, and that's when I made a small but humble request to my chat, and to all of you watching right now. Guys, if I could humbly request that you turn on one song for me and just listen along, if you could put on the song Walking in Memphis by Mark Cohn, as all I'm asking of you right now is to stop what you're doing and turn on the song Walking in Memphis. as you watch this happen. With my newfound powers awoken by Mark Cohn and his hit single, I finally caught a glimpse of the other hot dog for the first time on this track. It was some kind of crazy Rocky montage style moment where I pushed myself to my limits, and in the end, found the success I was training to achieve.
Woo! Yes! Yes, baby! Thank you, Marco!
The final race of Season 1 is in the Swampy Depot. This murky bog was more open than the last two tracks, giving opportunities to go off-road and destroy nearby structures. It's also got this broken, run-down ship in the middle of the water near the beginning of the race, which you can actually run through. I was getting the hang of this bratwurst by this point in the game, but saw no others in sight while trekking through the swamp. My driving was pretty good, but unbeknownst to me, I was missing one crucial thing.
I forgot the shortcut!
I was driving past this cave in every lap, which gives a nice shortcut that could have ended this early. Really could have used that, because the distance here was nutty.
Not when I shifted to maximum wiener drive.
I suppose in the moment I was going so fast and didn't think to make a little turn to see what was happening in that hole. So I just kept driving along and eventually took first place in the second lap on a god tier run. And right after taking first, well, you'll just have to see.
We're first, baby!
I think I accidentally implemented speedrun tech. I have no idea how this happened, but I ended up accidentally clipping through a wall, which took me out of bounds and warped me into a spot far ahead of everyone. Normally, this isn't quite my style when it comes to beating challenges, but on the back of the box for this game, they encourage cheating, and that's way cool. Well, if the game says it's okay, then I guess it's okay. I ended up winning the race and got an oddly inspirational shot of my hot dog gazing at the stars and fireworks. Season 2 put me back to Frigid Peaks, this time more frigid. I think the icy terrain was supposed to hinder turning, but I hardly noticed a difference. Maybe my pickle wheels are immune due to the salt. While there wasn't much that changed in the track, I did find the shortcut by this guardrail that you can just barely see. This, along with the other shortcut that I used in the first season, made for a quick win. Fertile Canyon took place at 3 in the morning, which is the least optimal time to drive, or drink a strange hot dog car potion. No real differences from the first race here either. I think the cars are supposed to be faster with each season, but the only challenge here was catching up to the only other hot dog on the road. It took me a while to get my bearings straight on this track, and while I did that, I practiced my poor Simpsons impressions.
Seymour!
You gotta drive that hot dog car, homie. You gotta save Bart.
Man, I don't want to drive the hot dog car. I don't want to see Bert.
Your son's in distress. Save your son.
After about 10 minutes of silly nonsense, I was in first place on the third lap, tearing it up. Well, for the most part. All credit goes to the nitrous on this one. They fixed my mistake and cooked me to perfection. Swampy Depot was a three-peat. Same track, different terrain, not much else. I did finally make it to the shortcut this time and beat the race in under 10 minutes, which was my shortest track grind thus far. Now we got something new. Downtown, where everything's waiting for you. The partly cloudy city streets proved to be a bit much for my poor pickles. I was slipping all around and hit this one wall so many times. Can't expect to slow down when you're literally fast food. There's a shortcut about halfway through the track that ends with an abrupt right turn, so if you're not careful, you'll end up with a smushed and burnt tube steak. My biggest problem with this track was how easy it was to explode. The other tracks had some kind of guardrail or walls that didn't mind a little bump here and there, but the city doesn't mess around. They encourage you to go as fast as you can, so you'll have to smash into their structures and pay hefty fines. Though colliding with the walls and buildings as much as I did helped me sharpen my brake drifting skills. Brake drifting didn't always prevent me from hitting a wall, but it was enough to keep my hot dog from blowing up. No explosions in the first lap helped me catch up to my counterpart, and it almost got away after I rear-ended this car with my car. But after respawning and keeping myself mostly clean from further fender benders and wall hits, I passed the finish line in first and got to enjoy another beautiful scene with the most gorgeous car around. Season 3 didn't bear much fruit in terms of difficulty. I beat Frigid Peaks on my first try and did the same in Fertile Canyon, which was frosty this time around. Swampy Depot took a few tries and I suffered through some road rage, but I won simply because
we're cranking hog to the max.
Downtown was beat in a surprising first time finish, and I've reached the final race which introduced a new track track. Sandy Beaches. Reminds me of a place I used to know. It's the smallest track I've been through so far. The roads are tight and compact, which isn't the most helpful for my high-speed Hoggaroonie. You can take a shortcut through the waterfall in the beginning, but I didn't find it too helpful, mostly because I was too big to fit in the hole. No, you goofy goober, that's not a joke. Every time I tried to go through, the tip of my hot dog got caught in the ceiling. The time loss that gave me was just too much. No problemo though. I channeled my inner Ridge Racer 64 and drifted through the track like there was no tomorrow. Granted, I hit a ton of walls, but I never blew up. My reward was a sweet 10 grand and a night at the beach to celebrate my victory. Season 4 is kind of like the equivalent of a TV show you really like that's starting to overstay its welcome. It's still good, but you can tell that it's getting a little stale. When I say that, I mean that we're going through all the same tracks. Again. But this is more at the fault of the challenge run than the game. We're an overpowered hot dog blasting through the competition, which is not Top Gear Overdrive's original intention. We're supposed to play as the crappy cars and work our way up to the good stuff. So while you're still playing through the same tracks, you're feeling that sense of progression and excitement of trying out a new vehicle that might get you closer to first place. Anyways, I beat almost every track with relative ease now that I was a seasoned hog chef behind the grill. But when it got time to play through Sunny Beaches again, something strange happened. On my first try, I was losing pretty hard, and almost got lapped by first. But when I reset, I raced through as normal, and got some airtime over this hill. Uh-oh. Wait, what? So for the second time in this challenge, I went so fast that I accidentally clipped through the track and respawned at a spot where I was certainly not supposed to be. I didn't replicate this a second time throughout the race, but thankfully that wasn't necessary. For the sixth and final race, we get to tread into some familiar yet new territory. It's Fertile Canyon at night again, except mirrored. This one proved to be a lot tougher than I thought it would. I have a tendency to fold when trying to race through mirrored tracks. I only got a couple of minutes into this track before my stream crashed. I took that as a good sign to stop for the night, and shortly after picking up where I left off the next day, I won the race and carried on to Season 5. It's the same deal, all the same tracks with differences in terrain or time of day, except there was something a little special in store for me, something I haven't had to worry about in a very long time. I experienced some difficulty in Frigid Peak. I think it was somewhat due to the nighttime making it harder to see, but it wasn't all that bad. Fertile Canyon was mirrored for the second race this time, and I won on my first try, so that was good. But then I got to Swamp Depot. On my second attempt there, I spent most of the race around 4th and 5th place. And when I hit the final lap, I caught up with 3rd, and it was actually my hot dog brethren. This was the first time I ever saw them in anything other than first. I didn't end up passing, but stayed close behind. Right before the finish line, I engaged the fuel thrusters and passed 3rd place, moving quickly and overconfidently. Oh no! I'm gonna need to see a photo finish because there's almost no way I didn't get first place there. But I had bigger problems now. Getting second place forced me to move on to the next race, and per my own rules, I can't have that. The issue is, I didn't create any kind of save point to go back to the beginning of the race. My last save was made in the race at mirrored Fertile Canyon in the
4th season.
Well, I guess it could have been worse. Haven't had one of these moments in a long time. So I got through the end of the 4th season again, caught back up to the Swamp Depot, and proceeded to beat it on my first try back. Downtown was a complete wash. I hit first place in the second lap, and from there, I finished in first without a care in the world or a pickle out of place. Sunny Beaches was tough, but that also could have been because I purposefully tried to replicate the out-of-bounds glitch I found earlier. After a few tries, I successfully pulled it off again, and it's surprisingly not that hard to do. It's okay though, guys. Remember, the game said it was okay. The 6th race is mirrored Frigid Peaks, and yet again, it was only difficult because I had to get used to this track's new layout. The same shortcuts were all still there and used, but there's just something about putting a track in a mirror that messes me up. 20 minutes into the peaks, I was in second place on the 3rd lap and down to my last nitrous charge. I hit the cave shortcut and found myself in first after exiting. The hot dogs were neck and neck, and when it came time to hit the final shortcut... Oh no! Did I just... No, I wienered him to the front! I blew it. Revenge would be as sweet and tangy as ketchup when I went through this track the next time. The final track of this season is regular old Swampy Depot. I made short work of it and basked in my victory under the stars with the flies and gnats. All that leaves is the 6th and final season. This is supposedly where the best of the best cars show up to race, so we'll see how it goes. It starts out at mirrored Frigid Peaks, where it only took 2 tries for me to beat it this time. All that effort in the last season paid off nicely. Next was mirrored Fertile Canyon, where I again gave this race the 2-try special. Mirrored Swampy Depot took more effort. I was literally flying around the track, crashing and burning many times, the typical stuff. All in all, it only took about 10 minutes to beat. Mirrored Downtown brought back the 2-time special. And speaking of repeats, I pulled off the Sunny Beaches out of bounds glitch, but mirrored. It's just so much fun to do. In a surprise twist, we got mirrored Fertile Canyon again, except this time, it was extremely hard. The cars in the top spots ahead of me were faster than they had ever been. Like, I would typically hit second place by the second lap and catch up to first at any point from there to the end of the third lap. But here, I never saw anything past third place. It took me a half hour worth of tries before I finally made it to third, where I found that it wasn't the hot dog grilling me this time. But I couldn't worry about that now. On the third lap, I was closing in on second and first. With my last nitro, I caught up to them by the finish line, and paused the game because it was so close that I got scared and didn't want another repeat of the Season 5 fiasco. Luckily for me, there was nothing to worry about.
Oh, we did it! Yay!
The 7th race led me back to the mirrored Swampy Depot to continue racing in the moonlight. I had the same issue here as I did in Fertile Canyon. The cars ahead are so fast, and you can't afford to make any mistakes. The only time I ever caught up to second and first place would be my last. I ran through all of my nitrous to reach them and secured my victory. This only took about half the time that Fertile Canyon did, which I was very thankful for. There's only one more track to go, and it's brand new. The 8th race is called Space Truckin'. It's a nerdy space race filled with planets and Poindexter lingo. There's no shortcuts here either, so I had to rely not only on my skills, but on my heart to trust and believe that this sausage link would lead me to glory and riches beyond my wildest dreams. Here we go. Yes! One final gaze upon the stars, closer than I had ever been. I beat the 6th and final season, and proved that you can beat Top Gear Overdrive only using the hot dog car. Thank you all so much for watching. I enjoyed this change-up of playing a car that's so good it's almost bad. Top Gear Overdrive was such a fun racing game and tough to master. This was my first introduction to the series, and I'm looking forward to checking out the other games in the future, especially if they're packing more joke vehicles. One thing I'd like to point out is the staff notes you see after beating the game. You can tell that everyone who worked on this game truly cared about it, and it was touching to see the silly notes and dedications from the team. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Also, I stream all of my challenge runs live on my Twitch channel and here on YouTube. If you'd like to check that out, be sure to subscribe or follow me on Twitch. The link to my Twitch channel, along with links to my other social media accounts, can be found in the description. If there's a challenge run you'd like to see, you can also check out the description for a direct link where you can submit your ideas. Thanks again for watching, everyone. See you in the next video. We activate the mustard and ketchup early, and then we'll relish in our victory. Okay.